You're scrolling through cars online and suddenly, boom, a four-door coupe that looks like a supercar. That's the brand new Mercedes-AMG GT43. And here's the crazy part. It's pushing out over 400 horsepower, but it's not priced like one of those $500,000 exotics. Yeah, this is actually Mercedes saying, hey, you can have an AMG that looks wild, drives fast, and still carries your friends without selling your house. In today's video, we're diving into what makes this car such a game changer. We'll check out the design, the tech, the performance, and whether this is the AMG that finally makes sense for everyday people. Trust me, you'll want to see this one. Exterior design. Now let's talk about the first thing everyone notices, the way this car looks. The Mercedes-AMG GT43 isn't just another four-door coupe. It's designed to turn heads the second it rolls by. From the front, you've got that signature AMG Panamericana grille, wide, low, and dripping with chrome vertical slats that scream performance. Flanking it are these sharp LED headlights, slim and aggressive, almost like eyes squinting at you. And down low, the massive air intakes on the bumper aren't just for show. They actually feed cool air into the engine and brakes, reminding you this isn't your everyday Mercedes. Step to the side, and the proportions hit you. That long hood stretches out like it's ready to pounce, and the roofline sweeps down in a fastback style that blends coupe elegance with sedan practicality. It's athletic, but still elegant. Think more athlete in a tailored suit than raw muscle car. The wheels? Standard AMG alloys that come in 19s, but you can option 20s that fill out the arches perfectly. With the big AMG brake calipers peeking through, it's a detail that really sells the performance vibe, even when the car's standing still. Interior and comfort. Slide inside, and this is where Mercedes really flexes. The cabin feels like stepping into a tech luxury lounge. Right in front of you is the AMG Performance steering wheel. Flat-bottomed, wrapped in soft Napa leather, with metal paddles that just beg you to downshift. It's got these little touch controls built into the spokes too, so you can swipe through menus without ever lifting your hands. Then, your eyes land on the screens. Mercedes went full digital here. You've got a massive 12.3-inch display behind the wheel that serves as your instrument cluster, and an 11.9-inch portrait-style touchscreen right in the middle. Both are razor-sharp, super responsive, and customizable. You can flip the cluster into different AMG themes. One minute, it looks like a classic gauge cluster. Next minute, it's this futuristic race car-style tack dominating the screen. The seats are another highlight. These aren't your typical cushy leather chairs. They're sports seats, deeply bolstered to hold you in place during aggressive driving. But Mercedes somehow made them plush enough for long road trips. You can get them in premium leather with contrast stitching, or even add AMG performance seats if you want that track-ready feel. Technology and features. All right, let's geek out on the tech, because this is where the GT43 really feels like the future. The star is that central 11.9-inch MBUX touchscreen. Think of it as your command center. It's fast, it's fluid, and it feels more like an iPad than a car screen. Swipe through menus, pinch to zoom on maps, it's all super intuitive. And the voice assistant is actually good. You just say, "Hey Mercedes," and you can adjust the climate, change the nav, even tweak ambient lighting without ever taking your hands off the wheel. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Of course, wireless. And if you're a music person, you'll love the optional Burmester surround sound system. It's one of those setups that makes even a podcast sound like a live performance. Then there's the digital instrument cluster, not just a speedometer and rev counter. It's a fully customizable screen where you can see performance data, navigation maps, even G-forces while cornering. It turns the driver's seat into a little control room. Engine and performance. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. What's under the hood? The AMG GT43 packs a 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-6 engine. And it's not just any six-cylinder. This thing is electrified with a mild hybrid system, which means you get a little extra boost and smoother power delivery. Total output? 416 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Not bad for the entry-level AMG GT. That power goes through a slick 9-speed automatic and gets sent to all four wheels via AMG's 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system. Translation? This car hooks up. Launch it, and you're looking at 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. That's proper sports car territory. But it's not just about straight-line speed. The GT43 comes alive when you put it in Sport or Sport Plus mode. The exhaust opens up, gear shifts snap quicker, and the whole car feels sharper. Yet, switch back to comfort mode, and it chills out, gliding along quietly. It's basically two personalities in one driving experience and handling. Specs are one thing, but how does it feel? Honestly, it's pure AMG magic. The steering is direct and precise. You turn in, and the nose goes exactly where you point it, with almost no body roll thanks to the adaptive suspension. Brakes? Big AMG stoppers that inspire confidence every time you lean on them. What surprised me most is the balance. In comfort, the suspension is compliant enough that you could daily drive this without a second thought. Switch modes, and suddenly it feels like it shrinks around you. Agile, responsive, like a proper sports car. Pricing. All right, let's talk money, because that's where things get really interesting. The Mercedes AMG GT43 starts at around $95,000, depending on market and options. Now, yes, that's a big number, but here's the twist. The GT53 can push past $110,000, and the GT63? That one's in full mortgage territory. The GT43 gives you the same gorgeous design, most of the tech, and plenty of AMG performance at a much more approachable price point. Of course, add in AMG packages, like carbon fiber trims, upgraded wheels, or the Burmester sound system, and the price can climb fast. But even fully loaded, it still undercuts the 63 by a serious margin. So, if you want the AMG GT experience without breaking the bank, this is the sweet spot. Conclusion. So, what's the final word on the Mercedes AMG GT43? Honestly, it's a bit of a sweet spot. You're getting AMG performance, a head-turning design, and everyday practicality, without going into full supercar money. Sure, it's not the fire-breathing GT63, but it doesn't need to be. This is the AMG you can drive to work during the week, take on a road trip over the weekend, and still pull up to a valet stand feeling like a rock star. If you've always wanted an AMG GT but thought it was out of reach, the 43 might just be the one you've been waiting for. A Swedish-made electric car with almost 900 horsepower. Yeah, you heard that right, 900. This isn't some concept sketch or future dream either. It's real. It's called the Polestar 5, and it's about to take on cars like the Porsche Taycan and Tesla Model S. Now, Polestar isn't just some random new brand. It's Volvo's EV spinoff, which means safety, design, and performance are baked in from day one. But here's the kicker. This thing doesn't even have a rear window. It's built on a lightweight aluminum platform, and it charges nearly as fast as it accelerates. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about this Scandinavian rocket, from the jaw-dropping design to what it actually feels like behind the wheel. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Exterior. All right, let's talk about the way this thing looks, because honestly, that's the first thing that'll make you turn your head when you see a Polestar 5 on the road. It doesn't look like your typical electric sedan. It's more of a futuristic grand tourer with some serious presence. Long hood, sharp lines, a roofline that flows all the way to the back. It's got that sleek fastback shape that just screams performance. Up front, you've got Polestar's signature split LED headlights. Kind of a futuristic take on Volvo's Thor's hammer design. They look sharp, modern, and definitely give it a unique identity at night. The grille? Or should I say, the lack of it? Because instead of a big open mouth, you get a clean, body-colored panel that makes the front look smooth and aerodynamic. Now, here's something you don't see every day. The Polestar 5 has no rear window. Yep, instead of glass, they've gone with a full roof panel that stretches more than 6 feet back. Rear visibility is handled by a high-definition camera that feeds into a digital rear-view mirror inside. Why? Well, 2 reasons. It gives passengers way more headroom in the back, and it keeps the silhouette low and sporty without compromising space. It's one of those clever design moves that just feels very Scandinavian. Simple, but smart. Overall, the Polestar 5's design is minimal but powerful. It's not overly flashy, but it has that quiet confidence vibe. Like it knows it's fast and doesn't need to shout about it. Honestly, it's one of those cars that looks even better the longer you stare at it, because you keep noticing little details in the lines and the proportions. Interior and comfort. Step inside the Polestar 5, and the first thing that hits you is just how clean and modern everything feels. This is classic Scandinavian design. Minimal, uncluttered, but somehow still warm and inviting. The dashboard is super simple, with almost no physical buttons in sight. Most of the controls live on that big portrait-style touchscreen in the middle, which I'll get into later when we talk tech. But the vibe in here, it's very futuristic without trying too hard. It's not overloaded with gimmicks, just a smart use of space and materials. Now, let's talk about the seats. Up front, you've got these sporty Recaro seats, which not only hug you in place when you're driving hard, but they're also surprisingly comfortable for long trips. They come wrapped in high-quality vegan leather, but if you want to go all out, Polestar also offers premium Bridge of Weir leather. Personally though, the eco-friendly route is really cool because Polestar has put a big focus on sustainability here. For example, the seat backs are made from this lightweight flax fiber composite material. It's called B-Comp, and it's not only stronger and lighter than traditional plastics, but also way better for the environment. The carpets, they're recycled too, made from a material called econyl that's repurposed from old fishing nets and other waste. It's one of those details that makes you feel like you're driving a car built with the future in mind. Technology. Now, let's get into the tech, because honestly, this is where the Polestar 5 feels like it's from another planet. Front and center, you've got this massive 14.5-inch portrait touchscreen. It runs on Google's Android Automotive OS, which means apps like Google Maps, Spotify, and even Google Assistant are baked right into the car. No need to constantly connect your phone. It's all native, and it works super smoothly. The interface itself is clean, quick to respond, and way less complicated than what we've seen in some rivals. It feels intuitive, like using a tablet, which is perfect for a car that's all about minimalism. Right behind the steering wheel, there's also a sharp 9-inch digital driver display that gives you all your key info like speed, range, and navigation directions without pulling your eyes off the road. It's crisp, clear, and customizable, so you can decide what's most important to you in driving. But Polestar didn't stop there. You also get a head-up display, projecting your speed and navigation right onto the windshield, which is especially handy since there's no traditional rear-view mirror. More on that in a second. Speaking of which, because the Polestar 5 doesn't have a rear window, they've fitted it with a digital rear-view mirror that's hooked up to a high-definition camera. It gives you a wide, clear view of what's behind you at all times, day or night. And honestly, once you get used to it, it feels way more useful than a regular mirror. So yeah, the tech here doesn't just look good, it feels like it's built for the future. Smart, functional, and seamlessly integrated into the car's whole vibe. Performance and driving dynamics. All right, now let's talk about performance. Because what's the point of a sleek Grand Tourer if it doesn't move like one, right? And trust me, the Polestar 5 does not disappoint. Underneath, this thing is packing a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup that pushes out a mind-bending 884 horsepower and 900 newton-meters of torque. That's right, nearly 900 horses in an all-electric package. To put that in perspective, that's more power than a Lamborghini Huracan, or even some McLarens. And since all that power is instant, the moment you hit the accelerator, it just launches. We're talking 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 3 seconds. That's proper supercar territory, but in a 4-door EV. Now, the magic here isn't just raw power. Polestar has engineered an entirely new bonded aluminum chassis for the 5. which makes the car both super rigid and super light. The result? Incredible stability at high speeds and razor-sharp handling in the corners. You don't feel like you're driving a heavy EV. It feels planted, responsive, and surprisingly agile for a car this size. Charging and range. All right, so we know the Polestar 5 can move like a rocket ship. But how far can it actually take you before you need to plug it in? Polestar hasn't skimped here either. The 5 comes with a large 103 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which translates to a real-world range of around 600 kilometers, or roughly 370 miles, on a single charge. That puts it right up there with the likes of the Tesla Model S and the Lucid Air. So if you're worried about range anxiety, this car is built to keep those worries away. Now, charging is where things get really impressive. Thanks to its 800-volt electrical architecture, the same kind of system you'll find in super high-end EVs like the Porsche Taycan, the Polestar 5 can handle ultra-fast charging speeds up to 270 kilowatts. What does that mean in practice? Well, you can go from 10% to 80% charge in just about 20 minutes if you're hooked up to a proper fast charger. That's basically the time it takes to grab a coffee and stretch your legs on a road trip. For home charging, you've got the standard 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which will fully juice the battery overnight if you've got a wall box installed. Pretty standard, but it makes daily use simple. Plug it in before bed, and you wake up to a full tank. All right, let's talk numbers. Because at the end of the day, performance and tech are great, but you've got to know what all of this is going to cost. Now, the Polestar 5 is positioned as a luxury electric grand tourer, so it's not playing in the budget category. The expected starting price is around $100,000 to $120,000, depending on the final market and trim. Yeah, that's a serious chunk of change. But here's the thing. Look at what it's going up against. At that price point, the rivals are cars like the Tesla Model S Plaid, the Porsche Taycan Turbo, and the Lucid Air Grand Touring. And when you stack them side by side, the Polestar 5 actually makes a really strong case for itself. It gives you nearly 900 horsepower, a lightweight bonded aluminum chassis, a range close to 600 kilometers, plus a seriously refined Scandinavian design that none of the others really match. What I like is that Polestar isn't just trying to copy Tesla or Porsche. They're carving their own lane. Where Tesla goes for minimalism and raw speed, and Porsche leans into sporty luxury, the Polestar 5 is more of a modern, design-driven GT. It's about combining long-distance comfort with high performance and cutting-edge tech in a way that feels different. So yeah, it's expensive, but in the world it's competing in, the Polestar 5 is offering serious bang for the buck. Especially if you're someone who values design, innovation, and that unique Scandinavian cool factor. Conclusion. So, when you put it all together, the Polestar 5 is more than just another electric car. It's a statement. You've got a sleek, futuristic design that turns heads without screaming for attention. A cabin that mixes Scandinavian minimalism with real-world luxury. Tech that feels one step ahead of most rivals. And performance numbers that are straight-up supercar levels. Add in 600 kilometers of range and lightning-fast charging, and suddenly this EV isn't just about going green. It's about redefining what a grand tourer can be. Sure, the price tag is steep, but then again, look at what it's offering. You're not just buying a car, you're buying into a vision, a brand that's pushing design, sustainability, and performance all at once. And in a world where so many EVs start to feel the same, the Polestar 5 genuinely feels like something fresh. So, is it the best electric grand tourer out there? That depends on what you value most. If you want outrageous speed with a clean, futuristic vibe, this one should absolutely be on your radar. But hey, that's what I think. What about you? Does the Polestar 5 have what it takes to challenge the Teslas, Porsches, and Lucids of the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to hear your take on it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more reviews and breakdowns coming your way. Lamborghini just dropped something that doesn't even look real. It's not a Huracan, not an Urus, and definitely not your everyday supercar. This thing is their first all-electric beast, and it's so wild they had to invent a whole new category just to describe it. We're talking about a car that cranks out over 1,300 horsepower without a drop of fuel. Yeah, let that sink in. And before you roll your eyes thinking, oh, another concept car, hold on, this one isn't just for show. Lamborghini says it's the blueprint for their future. And trust me, when you see what's inside, how it drives, and the insane tech packed into it, you'll realize this isn't just a car. It's Lamborghini's loudest statement yet. So, let's dive in, because what's coming next will change the way you think about electric supercars forever. Overview and context. So here's the deal. Lamborghini didn't just throw a random concept car at us. The Lanzador was revealed at Monterey Car Week in 2023. And it's not just a flashy one-off prototype. Nope. This is Lamborghini's sneak peek at their fourth production model, which they're aiming to launch around 2028 or 2029. And here's the kicker. It's their first fully electric car. They're calling it an Ultra GT, basically a brand new segment that sits between a raging supercar and a practical grand tourer. Think of it as Lamborghini's way of saying, yeah, we're going electric, but we're still going to do it our way. And their way means extreme performance, wild styling, and zero compromise on excitement. This car is part of their electrification roadmap, something Lamborghini calls Direzione Cortari. It's their long-term plan to stay brutal, but also go green. So essentially, the Lanzador is more than just a car. It's a statement about the future of Lamborghini exterior design. Now let's talk looks, because the Lanzador doesn't look like anything else on the road right now. At first glance, you might think it's a mashup. Part Aventador, part Urus, part spaceship. And honestly, that's not far off. Up front, you get these sharp, Y-shaped LED headlights. Classic Lamborghini signature, but with an even more futuristic vibe. The hood is low and sculpted, almost like it's slicing through air even when parked. From the side, it's got that sloping coupe roofline, but the stance is wild. Wide fenders, giant wheels, and a ride height that's noticeably taller than your average Lambo. It's like Lamborghini put a supercar on stilts and said, yeah, it can go anywhere now. Spin around to the back, and things get even crazier. You've got an aggressive diffuser, slim LED taillights stretched across the width, and vents everywhere you look. It screams performance, but also feels rebellious. Exactly what Lamborghini themselves called it. Rebellious and futuristic. Here's the interesting part. It's a two-door 2+2 coupe, which means you technically get back seats. More on that in a bit, but the exterior already tells you one thing. This isn't a gentle city EV. It's designed to look powerful, athletic, and honestly, a little intimidating. Interior. Step inside and the Lanzador doesn't let up. It's pure Lamborghini drama. First surprise. Even though it only has two doors, the interior is actually a 2+2 layout, so you've got two compact seats in the back. They're not limousine-level roomy, but hey, squeezing extra passengers into a Lamborghini, that's a win. Now up front, it feels like climbing into a fighter jet. The cockpit is low-slung, the flat-bottom steering wheel is right in your face, and the center console rises up to meet the dash, creating that enclosed, pilot-style vibe Lamborghini loves. The digital displays are super futuristic. Each front passenger gets their own dedicated screen built into the dash, which means no massive floating iPad in the middle, like you see in other EVs. It's all driver-focused, immersive, and honestly, looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. But here's where it gets interesting. Lamborghini isn't just flexing design. They're also flexing sustainability. The Lanzador's interior uses Italian merino wool for the upholstery, recycled carbon fiber in the trims, and even 3D printed foam made from recycled fibers for the seats. So, while you're feeling like a jet pilot in a 1,300 horsepower EV, you can also pat yourself on the back for being eco-conscious. Win-win, right? Performance and powertrain. All right, buckle up, because the Lanzador isn't playing around under the skin either. This beast packs two electric motors, one on each axle, which means full-time all-wheel drive. Together, These motors produce over 1 megawatt of power. That's more than 1,340 horsepower. For perspective, that's way beyond the Aventador's V12 output. Now, Lamborghini hasn't revealed the exact performance numbers yet, but with that kind of power and instant EV torque, you can bet this thing will rocket from 0 to 60 in well under 3 seconds. Top speed? Expect north of 200 miles per hour once it hits production. What makes it even crazier is how the power is delivered. With EVs, you don't wait for revs. Torque hits instantly. So imagine flooring it and feeling like you just got launched off an aircraft carrier. It's brutal, it's silent, and it's pure Lamborghini insanity, reimagined for the electric era. Technology and driving dynamics. Now, raw horsepower is fun, but what really makes the Lanzador feel like the future is the tech packed into it. Lamborghini has created a system called LDVI, short for Lamborghini Dinamica Veicolo Integrata. Fancy name, right? Basically, it's the car's brain. It constantly reads how you're driving and lets you fine-tune everything: steering, suspension, traction, right from controls on the steering wheel. So you can literally dial in your perfect driving style on the go. Then there's the active aerodynamics. Sounds nerdy, but here's the deal. The Lanzador has flaps and vents that move automatically depending on what you're doing. Cruising on the highway? They close down to make the car super slippery, which saves battery and extends your range. Switch into sport mode? Those same flaps open up, adding massive downforce so the car sticks to the road like a race car. It's like having airplane wings built into your Lamborghini. And because it's electric, Lamborghini had to make sure handling wasn't just about power. So you get things like rear wheel steering, which helps in tight corners, and adaptive air suspension, which can raise or lower the car depending on the terrain. That's huge because remember, this car has that higher stance. It's not afraid of rougher roads. Lamborghini literally designed this thing to feel at home, whether you're blasting down a track or driving through a mountain pass. Market position and speculation. All right, let's answer the big question. Who is the Lanzador actually for? Lamborghini is pitching this as their entry into a whole new segment they call the Ultra GT. Now, if you're wondering what that means, think of it like this. It's not as hardcore as a track-focused Aventador, but it's way more wild than a luxury SUV like the Urus. It's meant to be the ultimate all-rounder, a Lamborghini you can drive anywhere, anytime, without it losing its edge. As for price, well, Lamborghini hasn't dropped the official number yet, but early reports point to around $300,000. Yep, definitely still supercar money. And since it's slated for a 2028/2029 release, you can expect even crazier versions to follow. Maybe a convertible, maybe special editions. Now, competition-wise, it's a bit tricky because there's nothing exactly like this on the market. Some people are comparing it to the Porsche 911 Dakar or even the Ferrari Purosangue. But honestly, the Lanzador is kind of carving its own lane. That's very Lamborghini, isn't it? Bottom line, the Lanzador isn't for someone who just wants an electric car. It's for someone who wants an electric Lamborghini that still looks insane, drives like a beast, and makes you the center of attention everywhere you go. Conclusion and outro. So, to wrap it all up, the Lamborghini Lanzador is more than just another shiny concept. It's Lamborghini's first big step into the electric era, and they're making sure it screams Lamborghini from every angle. We're talking a rebellious, futuristic design, an interior that feels like a spaceship cockpit, over 1,300 horsepower of pure EV muscle, and tech so advanced it basically drives like it can read your mind. This car is proof that Lamborghini isn't backing down just because the future is electric. If anything, they're turning the volume up to 11. And honestly, if this is what the future of supercars looks like, I don't think anyone's going to complain. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Lamborghini nailed it with the Lanzador? Or are you still not sold on the idea of an all-electric Lambo? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more insane supercar breakdowns like this one.